here in our home. You can see some of our village members back here. We have a lot more. I see some in the crowd actually. Carol. And so a village is a grassroots organization here in the South End. Our missions say we work in the South End and beyond because we will go wherever it takes to make our voices heard. So just to give you a quick background on a village was started, like I said, in 2009. I was going through back surgery. I went through back surgery and I was going through my recuperation process. So I was walking. And talking to people, and the mindset down here is we go out and we vote for people and we don't see them anymore. I said, let's create our own voice. And that was 6 years ago that I said that, and we've created a voice that is. The work that we are doing now, right behind you is the Capital South Campus Center here. That's our weekly meeting. But on Saturday, in the back of the building, we do a farmer's market. We live in what you call a food desert, so we're more than a mile away from a supermarket. So we decided, a village decided that we would bring fresh fruits and vegetables to our community. And we started a farmer's market about 4 years ago. So recently we've incorporated a nutrition class in it and Zumba. So every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, you can go be right in the back of this building. Pretty soon we'll be meeting inside because of the weather change. But we do our farmers market, Zumba, and nutrition class, and it's very exciting. It's vibrant. People are involved. We talk about recipes, healthy recipes. There's obesity in our community, and we understand that there's a lack of resources in our community, but we don't let it stop us. We are a group that we go after what we truly deserve. Like, for instance, I've been living in this community for the last 40 years. And when I was growing up as a kid, we had a community center. But for the last 10 years, we haven't had a community center. I am sitting around the table with the mayor. And the mayor, and she's brought other people around the table about a community center in our South End. In the South End. We're in this building on a bi-weekly basis working on a $5 billion, $500 million economic development plan, bringing jobs to our community, because we know that, people on the outside talk about that area is crime ridden. Well, if you give us some jobs, if you give us economic stability, fix our schools up, fix our sidewalks up, our streets, then, you wouldn't have that much stuff. But, my mother used to always say an idle mind is the devil's playground. And when you have a situation where people don't have jobs, we ran some census tracts. And I was looking at those census tracts with inner city communities. We're not at the bottom of the economic ladder. We're underneath the bottom of the economic ladder. And it's a shame. I was so inspired by the Pope, this week, talking about the disparities and discriminatory practices in our communities. It's a shame that 1% of the world population control 99.9% of the wealth. Something is wrong with that picture. We have to learn how to share with each other. God said, my least ones. We don't want to mess with the least one. God knows He's watching out for His people. He's watching out for His people. So the greed and all that stuff, you're going to be punished for that. And I know that I'm not talking to anyone here because we're together. We are a village. That's the concept of a village. All of us coming together, black, white, Muslim, Hispanics. We're all one. We're brothers and sisters. So I can stand here and talk to you about a lot of stuff that a village is working on. And it's not just Willie White. I'm the founder, I'm the director of the organization, but there's nothing that I could do without the members that's pushing me and motivating me and saying, you can do this, we can do this. Together we can. Recently, well, I'll say 4 years ago anyway, there was a 20-year fight to get a bus up this hill. Mind you, from the bottom of Pearl Street to the top of Morton Avenue is 1.3 miles. But in order for people in this residence to get to the hospital, they had to go 45 minutes out the way, take a transfer and go downtown and then back across New Scotland and all. So a village stood up and said, this is unacceptable in our community. We're going to fight. And we fought hard. We ran newspaper ads. We did television spots. And eventually CDTA called us to the table and said, you guys have really fought hard and you deserve this bus. So we're going to put this bus. One of the mistakes that the village made was not getting commission on this bus, because they wrote us a letter 2 months later and said it was one of the most profitable routes that we have in our communities. So, but that's okay. At least our people have They have transportation to get up to the hospitals, to get to the supermarkets, and on. So, we know that if we stand up and fight right, and fight with dignity and love in our heart, that there's nothing that can stop us. We are an organization in the South End that protests any injustice in our community. And I can't leave you without giving you a quote from Dr. King. I have to give you a quote from Dr. King. Because Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If we protest courageously, and yet with dignity and the love of God in our hearts, when the history books are written in the future, somebody will have to say, there lived a race of people, of black people, of white people, of people who had the moral courage to stand up for their rights. And thereby, they injected a new meaning into the veins of history and civilization. So I say to you today, my brothers and sisters, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And just to give you a little bit of a village's philosophy, if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody that he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. You see, I just want to do God's will. He's allowed me to go to the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I might not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. You see, I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Thank you so much.